right, so it is early in the morning. Been up since about 4:30. Got everything packed up. Everything's good to go. I'll show you what it's like in the mornings. Got my little walk around shoes, and as I walk up and down the stairs and load, and just before we go, I'll throw my boots on. But this is all. There's all my stuff. There's all my stuff right there. There's cameras and battery chargers. That's computer, iPad, that sort of stuff. Vic's helmet communicator all charged. My helmet communicator all charged. Camera charged, mounted up, and of course the camera is on a selfie stick right now, all charged up, ready to go for the day. Yeah, all the data from yesterday has been offloaded onto a computer, and Coach Vic is sleeping. You can see there's a boot on the bed right there. I'll show that to you. That was the hint that I gave her to get up. Here, I'll give her another hint. Let me find something else. Find a shoe, another shoe or something. Oh, I did. I already put them both up there. So I gave her 2 hints.
I need 3 or 4.
She says she needs 3 or 4. So what I'm gonna do, we'll head downstairs. I'm gonna load all this stuff up. We're gonna get on the road. I'm super excited. I'm ready to go to Key West today and ready to see some of that open water. It's been a long time since I've seen that open water. Been about 5 years since I've been to Key West. I didn't expect to really be excited about going down there. But I woke up and I'm like, man, I just can't wait to smell the air and feel that dampness that you feel, that salty, sticky air that you just can't shake off, and when you leave, it just seems to have permeated your blood. It's just awesome down there. So I can't wait to get down there and do that. So let me load up, because I want to be rolling by 6, and Vic is trying to push it back till 6:30, but we're gonna do 6. I'm gonna drag her out of that bed. You know, you always expect a little moisture in the air, but let me tell you, there's something about South Florida, man. Everything is super duper wet every morning, and it feels incredibly warm out here. The forecast said it was going to be like in the 70s this morning. In all honesty, it may be, but if it is, it's high 70s. It feels 80 degrees out here. I'm going to get the Spyder uncovered, dried off, dry everything off, get everything cleaned up.
6:30. I have 6 minutes. 5 minutes.
Why are you covering your mouth?
I'm enjoying my coffee.
To what? What are you listening to?
Good news.
Oh, listen to Billie Eilish.
I have Billie Eilish.
Coach Vic's in no hurry, that's for sure. All right, so we are out by the Spyder, ready to go, man. All geared up and ready to go.
We're ready to go.
So,
we had a nice talk this morning with an older gentleman.
yeah, the fella I mentioned in the video last night, he's from Pittsburgh. Super nice guy, came down for a wedding, has a lot of family down here in the Naples area. So, yeah, awesome guy.
And another guy followed me around, helping me get food all morning.
Yeah, Coach Vic's
You need help, you need help, you need help. Sure.
Yeah.
And I go sit with you.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Coach Vic always has fans
That
wherever
was
she
pretty
goes.
funny.
Do you need help, honey? Do you need help, honey? So if you ever see Coach Vic on the road, always ask her if she needs help. I mean, that's the moral of the story. Well, everything's dried off. Any reservations about what we're doing this morning, or are you getting excited about seeing Key West?
Yeah, Key West is gonna be nice.
And you know what I'm super excited about isn't even so much Key West, it's that bridge going out, being over the water again, feeling that wet, mist, sticky, salt air. It's gonna be awesome.
Getting my picture with the southernmost point.
Oh, we better hope there's not a long line.
Yes, we'll figure it out.
We always figure it out. All right, well, let's hit the road, mama.
All right.
Here we go. All right, turn down my hey y'all music. All right, we are rolling. Yeah, we're a little bit late. Coach Vic's gonna blame me for conversing. It was all my fault. But yeah, so we're gonna get through the bustling traffic here of I-75. We'll be hopping on the Tamiami Trail and heading across the state. It's gonna be a stellar morning, man. It is beautiful. 77 degrees already. Yeah, it's warm, feels good, but it's wet. Everything's wet. Wiped the windshield down this morning, wiped the Spyder down, and it's wet already. Before I could get on it, it already had dampness on it.
I did on the GPS, I did more of the adventure route or whatever last night, and with the self-tracking too, and so pretty cool, man. It's taken us through some really beautiful areas here in Naples. Anyone who has never been down here, man, this is really nice. It's really pretty. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful Everglades. They are absolutely wonderful. You know, I will say this, Coach Vic, when she grew up as a girl, her father, as we've often told you, built airboats, and so she grew up around all this. Me, not so much. It's really beautiful out here. The smell, you just have to be here to experience it, to know what it is. It's wonderful. It's so clean. Wow. There's so much crazy land out here. It looks so unforgiving, but so beautiful all at the same time. Sun's coming up. The temperature's actually dropped about 5 degrees since we left. It's feeling really good. There's your house right there. We could afford that one. So if you're ever wondering, can you get gas in the Everglades? There is one marathon station in Carnstown, which is an unincorporated, unpopulated city. All right, we are entering Big Cypress National Preserve. Beautiful. So you know, back in the old days, the old folks would take their time to go to the post office. So I decided to make a little post office run, but I didn't know it was going to be 500 miles away. But the post office is enormous and it's well worth the visit. There it is, world's smallest post office. And yes, it is functional, operational. There is the little mail cart right there. It is U.S. Post Office, considered to be the smallest post office in the United States. There you go. There you go. You got high-tech security lights up there, 2 screw-in bulbs, and an opaque window. Look at this. Look at the postwoman's here.
Yeah, the postwoman. Yeah, I'm the postwoman.
This is when I normally make an inappropriate comment, but Bill will run the camera I won't. So are you enjoying your trip through the Everglades?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it brings back lots of memories. I came out here since I was at least 6 years old until I was about probably 20. In all my growing up years, you know, lived at home, my dad came out here at least 2 or 3 times a year. We come out to the Everglades. Airboat or in the buggy or the Jeep. Fond memories. All right, Coach Bob, enough of the post office. Let's go for a ride in the Everglades and savor the flavor of the Everglades.
I think she told me what to do. Let's run. All right, so we are at the Skunk Ape headquarters. Yeah, Skunk Ape headquarters in Ochopee. Is that how you say that, Vicki? O-C-H-O-P-E-E, Florida. Okopi, Ochopee, Ochopi, Okopi, Okapi. I've said it wrong several times and right at least once. Let me know down below how you actually say it. You can phonetically spell it out for me. Anyway, I can say skunk ape though, that I could say. Let's look at it. Back over there, they have a gated area where they have the alligators. They've got alligators here, and they do stuff. I don't know, but it just says dangerous reptiles, alligators don't go beyond that fence. So apparently we got some alligators here. I don't know. What do you think, Coach Vic?
Could be.
You think there's alligators in the Everglades?
I don't know, maybe.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
There might even be some snakes.
Yikes! Let's get out of here. So there's at least one cougar. Everglades, where Coach Vic used to, as a girl, her father would put the airboat in.
Well, we put the airboat in down there.
Down there. Over there? Behind us?
Sometimes the airboat would go in. I think the airboat went in here. And then we'd take the truck on the levee, because we do the airboat sometimes to the camp, or the truck to the camp, and then we'd get on a buggy to go for the other mile and a half on land.
Gotcha. All right, so here's my question there for you, Coach. You want to push up this levee for prosperity, or do you want me to help you?
Oh, I'm pushing up. And the gate is changed. It used to be, from what I remember, more of a, not a chain link gate, but the gate's different. A silver gate. Well, my dad had a key, so he had a key and could come out whenever he wanted. But yeah, it's about 20 from if I think right 20 miles out, like a levee ride.
Yikes, that's a long way.
So our camp is out on this side of the levee.
So that's a proud Everglade girl right there, isn't it?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Many years we spent out here, many years. And the airboat would go out there, but you know, after 20 to 30 years, it's grown a lot. But
well, I can see the airboat trail right there on the other side of it.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah,
but
right there you see where the water's cut out in the sawgrass there. That's a great way to grow up, man. That is just a great way to grow up. Coach Vic, that's super cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. You know, I'm going to tell you, I've never been out here. This is a part of the trip, and you know, when you travel, this is one of those things I did not expect. I mean, I figured we're going to blast, you know, down Alligator Alley, Tamiami Trail, whatever you want to call it, and blast through here and end up, you know, in Key West, and this was just going to be a transitional area. I didn't expect it to be this. So we've taken a lot of time here, and we are certainly willing to just get to the motel tonight if need be. This is just awesome.
And as kids, this hill was a lot bigger.
It seemed bigger anyway,
yeah,
right?
And then we would have lunch over here.
Over here by where this big gator is?
I remember there being rocks, like you used to climb around on big rocks or something out here, but we have lunch over here.
Don't know if you can see the gators out there. There's a big one on the other side swimming pretty fast over there by the gate, or by the shore over there. And then there's another one right here close up.
Look at the gator. Oh,
He's high in the water, man, riding high.
Three of them.
Yeah, I see the low one there, I see the high one there, and then I see the one in the middle. There's 3 of them. Yeah, the guy over on the other side, he's riding high going, oh, you see his tail swish? I don't know, man. If that was a tail, that's a big old gator.
At the end of the levee, and we would, or either the airboat would come on a canal like this when we do the airboat at the end of the levee, or we would drive the truck. And this is what we would see at the end, a canal like that coming up.
Right.
And my dad used to let us swim in the canal. We would swim in the canal as kids with the gators. Or out there in the Everglades, which you can't see. Where
There are no gators out there.
All the marsh, I guess you'd call it, is we would stop in the middle of it where all the sawgrass is, and we would get out as kids and play in the water.
Yeah. Well, I just saw there's another big one that's crossing down there,
Yeah,
and I saw the one where they've got the little turn over there in the high grass on the edge over there, where they're just splashing in and out from over there. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them right here.
I would have dreams about boating in the canal like this and falling out of the boat, and there's alligators everywhere.
I can't imagine why.
As our time in the Everglades drew to an end, we knew that it was just a few moments before you leave this beautiful countryside where it looks like there's absolutely no civilization for thousands of miles around, as we get ready to enter the thriving metropolis of Homestead, Florida. You know, the place that got hammered by Hurricane Andrew way back when.
All right, we are in the city of Homestead. Yes, we are. What a beautiful church. This is the place that Hurricane Andrew hit way back. I think that was in the 80s, maybe the 90s. Coach Vic just told me, she goes, they had told people to evacuate to Homestead to avoid the hurricane, and it hit here dead center, and it ripped this place to pieces. I remember seeing on TV folks lined up to get water and all that stuff. I was like, what a mess. That was the first time I'd ever really seen, you know, something on that scale like that. But it's a beautiful little town. All right, the wind's blowing. You're going to be all mussy, but that's okay. We are in Florida City. In fact, we're going to be staying here tonight. Getting to Key West is only 126 miles, but it takes 2.5 hours to do those 126 miles because you can't go. Just part of it. So we're going to do 2.5 miles out there, spend a couple hours on Key West looking around, hit Duval, hit the mile marker 0, at least get some video of us driving by it or something if we can't get a picture, depending on the line and all that stuff. We don't want to spend an hour standing on the sidewalk. That's not fun. So we're going to get loaded up here, get us I've already had a little bit of water.
Yeah, I need some aqua.
I'm feeling pretty good though. Beautiful trip through the Everglades. I didn't see that coming.
I loved going through the Everglades. A lot of memories, plus it's really beautiful to drive through it.
We've driven in a lot of beautiful places, and I'm going to say today, between the Everglades and the bridges going out over the Keys, this has a great chance of being the most beautiful ride I've ever ridden in my life.
So those of you who live in Florida, ride on Tamiami Trail through the Everglades. It's well worth the trip.
And you know, if you're a two-wheeled guy, like a sport bike guy, the roads are long and straight, but if you're a touring guy, it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Ready?
All right, yes I am.
Yes. Ah, it's worth it. That was worth the trip right there. So this is what the Keys look like, y'all. This is the first bridge as we start getting out into the actual Keys. Everything else has been kind of like marshland. And it's just beautiful, as you can see. It's a shame this is not smell-o-vision, because that salt air is just fresh and beautiful. You know, driving through the Keys, I can't help but go back in my mind to a time when I was down here sailing and got a phone call from Coach Vic. It was about a relative of ours, a young man in the military who hiked on the AT with my son, and he had died in a motorcycle accident in Hawaii. Real tragic. He was probably 20 years old, just a kid. But so I took a bus out of here. I was on a sailboat down at Key West with a buddy of mine. Took a bus out of Key West up to Florida City. I rented a car and drove home. And then Vicky and I and kids got in the van, all drove up to Virginia. And I had the privilege of speaking and officiating his funeral. But every time, I didn't expect to think about that, I'll be honest with you. But seems like whenever I do things like this, I always remember folks. Wonderful young man. So here's Key Largo. You know, everybody thinks about Bogey and Bacall, right? The song. Here's Looking at You, Kid. Yeah. We looked at staying in a motel here at Key Largo as opposed to going back into Florida City. But it cost almost 3 times as much, and it's only 25 minutes. So, seems kind of silly to do that, doesn't it? Man, you can smell the citrus. It's just wonderful. I was talking to a guy a long time ago about this. I believe it was actually the bus driver when I was on the bus. He said, you know why it's called Tavernier? And I'm like, nope. And a long time ago, when they were running the railroad down here, which is a whole nother story, but the guys that were working on the railroad were pretty hardcore, and all they could say is there a Tavernier? So they were looking for a tavern. Is there a tavern here? And it became Tavernier. There you go. Now you know a little Tavernier lore. You know, it's funny, you know, when people think about the Keys, they always think about Key West. I mean, that's obviously, you know, you think Jimmy Buffett and Key West and US 1 and all those things. But what you don't think about are the little Keys, the Keys that don't really have a bunch of homes on them, and they're more desolate and isolated. And there's a key called Rodriguez Key, and Dan and I, when we were sailing, we dropped anchor off Rodriguez Key one night. The water, when you were pulling up, you know, there was all the mangroves and all that, and we went into this little protected little cove and dropped anchor, and you had to use the depth finder because the water, although it looked brown, it was quite clear, and so it looked really, really shallow, and you'd go over these big holes and then you'd find a shallow spot, and that's where you drop anchor. But it was just beautiful. Of all of the places that we stayed, and we stayed a long time in Marathon, we stayed a few weeks in Key West, but of all of the places that we stayed, that the fondest memory I have of any place that we stayed was Rodriguez Key. It was just beautiful. It's just this little nothing key. You see the bike trail along the right hand side? All the Keys have a lot of bike accessibility and that sort of thing. A lot of people just get around down here on bicycles and walk. When we were on the boat, I mean, we did everything. We just walked. It was funny. We were in a marathon. We called it the Vortex. You can check in, you just can't check out. You can't get out of there. Kind of like the Hotel California. But when we were there, we had a diesel torn apart in the boat, and it was funny because we would need a part. We'd walk down to the hardware store, we'd buy a part, we'd come back, it would be the wrong part, and then you'd have to walk another 5 miles to go get the right part. And so sometimes your day you would plan on getting a lot done, and you would get very, very little done. Well, I hope you're enjoying the trip with us, hanging out. Be sure to like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. One of the things I said earlier is you can't really go fast, and once the roads are down to 2 lanes like this, you can't. You're not allowed to pass, and there's a lot of traffic on this road. Just the very nature of it. So understand when you come down to the Keys, just be patient with it, enjoy it, because it is beautiful. You just have to make the most of it. Beautiful marina there. Look at that one.
You know, as we grab 7 Mile Bridge, I can only think of all of the Hollywood things that have occurred here. In 1994, the movie that I most commonly think about that was filmed down here was True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. License to Kill in '89, Fast and Furious movies, Key Largo way back in 1948, The Triangle Up Close and Personal. It just goes on and on. Also, some of the amazing race and things have been filmed down here quite a bit. One of the questions that you're asked a lot is, can you really see Cuba from Key West? And the answer, no, you can't. You're just not gonna see that. It's 90 miles away. If you notice when we're driving, there are 2 bridges out there. The old 7 Mile Bridge, well, it was built in the early 1900s. It was part of Henry Flagler's railway to the Key West, as I was mentioning in the Tavernier story. It's beautiful to look out there and think about the old days and how it had to have been way back when. You know, my parents lived in Key West before I was born. My father was a flight service guy for the FAA, which back then was the CAA. Property was cheap and there really wasn't much out here. Man, I wish they'd have bought a lot of land and given it to me. You can't even buy a lot for a trailer for less than $500,000. It's crazy how expensive property is down here. But the Keys is absolutely beautiful. The reef diving is shallow, it's easy. The water has that blue teal look. It just looks like it's fluorescent even in the daytime. So as we roll across 7 Mile Bridge and just soak in the landscape and the beauty, enjoy the ride.
get over. Over. All right, cool. Getting into the more downtown areas of Key West. Look at that big old grandfather oak. Look at that. Nice, huh? Yeah. Now Key West is a bustling place, man. It just is a bustling place. There's always something going on here. It's really, really cool. Nobody's in a hurry, but everybody's doing something. When we were here on the boat, it was funny. You'd meet people that lived here, young people that were working, and there'd be 10 of them living in a one-bedroom apartment. We're gonna let these cameras run and let you enjoy the beauty of Key West, man, because Key West is unbelievable. Isn't that beautiful? So we know we're getting close. Now back in the day, now I don't know if they still do this, but we did this thing called the Duval Crawl where you had to drink one drink in every bar along Duval Street. I'm a wuss. I didn't make it, guys. I just want to tell you, I ran out of sobriety. This is Duval Street. Yeah, Duval's cooking, man. We'll definitely be going down that road here in a little while on the way by. Here's the southernmost point right here. All right, look at that. Yeah, look at all those people. There it is, southernmost point, y'all. And all the people standing in line to see it. Very Duval Street. This is where all of everything's happening here. You can get you a sun hat there, Coach Vic. Now see the bull and the whistle, and then the top is the Garden of Eden. Yeah, the third story, the Garden of Eden, is clothing optional. I did not go up there. No, I did not. No, we sat on that balcony right there, but I would not walk up those stairs. I ain't walking up them stairs. Not me. And that's Sloppy Joe's right there. All right, Coach Vic, Fogarty's in Key West, Florida. How was it?
It was great.
So are you ready to take a nap now?
Have my feet dropped out.
It was a good ride up here, or down here. Ride back should be hot. It's been hot. It didn't disappoint. Florida never lets us down, baby. I came here last time I was here. Wonderful place. Food's good, service is good, and you can't go wrong. Sitting right out here on Duval Street, enjoying every minute of it.
It's been a wonderful trip.
Super hot, so what I decided to do was leave Coach Vic at the restaurant, and I'll walk and get the Spyder, get everything set up, and then head over there and pick her up. That way she ain't dealing with this heat. Don't worry about her. Her face was red as a beet, and the waiter brought her a glass of water and a rag so that she could wet it, and then wipe her face with the cold rag. And she didn't ask for it. He just brought it because he thought she looked hot. So, Tim at Fogarty's, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you doing that for her. She was really struggling. You were a big help, buddy. Start that YouTube channel too, man. You're a sailboat guy. You're gonna do well. Coach Vic's doing her thing, and she needed a few minutes to cool off. She texted me, she said, give me just a few more minutes in the shade there, Coach, and I'll be ready to go. So, it's crazy cool, isn't it? It is just so cool here. Stop at Florida Motel. We got out of Key West. A lot of traffic, of course, coming through town. Didn't want to run the cameras through that. Just put you through that would have just been torture, wouldn't it, Coach?
Right, but at least we were moving.
We were moving.
On the way up, we were still not stopping.
So I think I'm going to put on the gloves and the helmet and then go without the jacket on the way back.
Yeah.
We are cooking, man. It is hot.
Very hot.
All right.
Wearing me out.
I know it. You know, and the miles aren't big, but these are long days because of the lack of traffic flow. But these days, I think, you know, to me personally, when you compare this to a 500-mile day, this is harder to me.
It's harder, yes.
Yeah, it is. When you're stopping like this.
in traffic and when it's really hot.
Yeah. It's harder. Yeah. All right, well, we'll close it up in the motel room and all that jazz. But you got anything you want to add before we get to rolling?
I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to the hotel.
All right, let's do it.
As we rolled out on US 1 and over the 7 Mile Bridge, the air started to cool off just a little bit. You could taste the salt in the air and feel the stickiness on your skin. It was the perfect afternoon on the perfect day with a perfect riding partner. It doesn't get any better than this. These are the days you live for.
All right, Coach Vic. So
Long day.
It was.
We left
at 7 o'clock and got
late.
here
We were supposed to leave at 6:30.
8 o'clock. A little after 8. So.
We got here a little after 8.
So we were 13 hours, and of that 13 hours, about 2 of them
We took a long lunch break.
was lunch and hanging out.
Yeah.
And I did drive around a little bit in Key West, and even with that driving around, we were only at like 398.9, I believe.
Are you sure that's right? That doesn't seem like it's correct, but I guess if you
Yes,
say
that's
so.
right. 398.9 miles. When you start doing the math, we averaged a whopping 36.26 miles per hour. When we drove to Texas, we did a 640 mile day. And you know, that day was hard, but really to me, it really wasn't that bad. Today was much harder than that. And it's because of the frustration when you're trying to go and everyone's just barely moving, and a lot of stop and start.
Well, we're on the trike for like 11 hours.
Yeah,
We're sitting on it.
There was a section of time where we were stopped. I don't know how much footage we got of it, where
I took a picture.
they were putting a power pole up, working on the power line, and so they had the road down to one lane. We know the temperature gauge on the Spyder is reading right over the cockpit areas where that sensor is, and so it's really more of the temperature for right where the driver is. It got the hottest I've ever seen at 130 degrees.
Wow.
It was hot, man. It was a long day. It was a beautiful day. I will say that of all of the trips of anything that I've ever done, today, just visual acuity and looking around, probably the most beautiful ride I've
going
ever
from the
been on.
Naples to the Everglades to the Keys.
It was absolutely wonderful. We had a lot of folks asking us about the Spyder when I was driving around while Coach Vic, by the way, I let everybody know that you had asked me to go get the Spyder so that you could cool off in the restaurant there for a few minutes, because her face was red. When the waiter actually shows up, and I mentioned this I think earlier on the video, when the waiter actually shows up with a rag and water for you to cool off with without being asked for it.
It was hot, yeah.
That's when you know that the person really looks super hot.
Yeah.
Coach Vic's face was red as a beet. The heat today, and when you accompany that with not being able to move, it was a hard day. Today was a hard day in the saddle. It was a good day.
It's a long day ride on a motorcycle. That's great. We're crazy.
Coach Vic, we're sitting at lunch. She goes, "We need to rethink. Maybe we should be doing long days."
I don't know. I think I'm rethinking long days.
But it depends on how you define what a long day is.
Well,
A long day does not necessarily mean big mileage.
right.
A long day could be low mileage, where you're averaging 36.26 miles an hour.
Right.
Versus,
Well,
500 miles.
If we got to the Keys, like we drove back from the Keys, it would have been completely different.
Man, was it beautiful.
Yes.
Would I rather do this, or would I rather do a country road across the middle of the state? I would rather do the country road across the middle of the state. Man, Tamiami Trail, that was worth the entire trip.
Right. I think I mentioned it on another part of the video. If you're from Florida and you have a chance to drive through across Tamiami Trail,
You need to.
do it, yes.
I'm going to tell you, if you're not from Florida, you need to drive Tamiami Trail. That is the Everglades, and it is absolutely beautiful. No traffic, wonderful, smooth as glass road, and you could just roll. I'm going to tell you, if the whole day we would have been able to move like we did on Tamiami Trail, today would have been as close to perfection as it could possibly be. So Coach Vic, any epiphanies, anything that you learned today? Now I know this is your old stomping ground down here, so anything that you might have learned or said, man, you know what, I didn't know it was like this, or anything like that, or pretty much was the day what you expected, or?
It was what I expected. It's been years since I went through Naples, and I really enjoyed that. And then going across the Everglades brought back lots of memories of my childhood. And I called my dad, sent him a video, Yeah, great memories out there in the Everglades. We saw Bigfoot. No, what do we call it? Skunk ape.
Skunk ape.
Skunk ape. We took a picture of the skunk ape. Oh, we saw a little post office. And then going down the Keys, like I said, it's been years since I went down there. I didn't realize it was so far down there.
I was surprised how crowded it was. It was a Monday, and it was packed down there.
Yeah.
It was really, there was a wait for over an hour to get into Sloppy Joe's.
Yes, we didn't either. What we ate was really good though.
It was great.
Yeah, I forgot. What was it? Bogarts?
Fogarty's.
Oh, Fogarty's. Whatever, I got it.
Yep, it's a nice sidewalk cafe. Really, really good food. Reasonably priced, certainly reasonably priced for Key West, where you're prone to pay $6 for a bottle of Corona.
Right.
But we had a great time. It was beautiful. Duval Street was beautiful. We got to see the southernmost point, which is mile marker 0. And if I'm not mistaken, Fort Kent up in Maine is mile marker 01, mile marker 1, because it's the other end of US 1. That's a long mile. From the southernmost point,
You're
mile
making me
marker 0.
nervous just saying
Fort
that.
Kent, mile marker
Just
1.
saying that.
But
It's gonna be a long ride.
when I mentioned Key West to Maine, there was only one negative comment that you made. And what was that? I have to ride all the way.
To the Keys to start?
Yes, I have to ride all the way to the Keys to start.
Just to start.
And that was very disturbing to Coach Vic because it's a long ride. It's 600 miles down to Key
we're
West
past
from our
that
house.
part.
So we've done that part. We're on our way back. Tomorrow is going to be I would call it a 0 day. We're going to look at Coach Vic's old stomping grounds and
Where I used to live
and go to her twin sister's house. And so it's going to be a nice day. And then the next day we have to make a decision. 500 miles back in one day, or break that trip up into 2 days. Well, I'll let Coach Vic make that decision, because if it's up to me, we'll do 500 miles.
I like to just get out of Florida as quick as I can because I've been all over Florida.
I mean, it was a great day.
It was
It was
good.
wonderful, beautiful, hot, frustrating, exciting, happy,
I'm just
upset,
thinking,
angry, all of it.
I'm just crazy.
Just crazy.
What am I thinking?
Crazy.
Like, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? But I did it. So at least I can say I did it.
Oh, my little spot here is coming off too. It's
Oh my goodness.
it's almost off. You can see it. Don't pull it because it'll
I'm
bleed.
not gonna pull it.
But my little spot should be off tomorrow.
Poor thing.
Just fall off, you won't see it anymore.
Poor thing.
It'll be pretty and clean.
Poor thing.
I won't have my speck there no more. Well, I reckon that's about it.
That's about it.
Okay, so what
I'm
we
ready
want
to
to
hit the
do?
hay.
I'm not going to help you in the bed tonight.
Well, yes, you are. 'Cause they make these beds so high.
This is the wheelchair room in the
Yeah,
bed.
they make them so
foot
high.
above where
Yeah.
Coach Vic sits. All right, so I want you to do me a favor. Go out and do what?
Go buy the motorcycle of your dreams.
Eat right.
Take care of yourself.
And remember, if you're not having fun,
You're doing it wrong.
now go seize the day. We'll see you real soon.